Hey everyone, just making this recording today about how it feels to be an awakening divine masculine. Throughout the whole of our ascension journey, we're integrating divine masculine and divine feminine energies as light workers, star seeds and twin flames. And this is all about balance, really. If you imagine the yin and yang, imagine the white bit is the feminine, the black bit is the masculine, and so as a feminine you'll have a little tiny black dot of about 20% or whatever of masculine energy. That's personally how I feel mine is, about 20%. A lot of other people, will have completely different levels, and the masculine energy doesn't have to be in a female body. We all know this is pretty variable, so I don't want to offend anyone or get anything wrong. This is just personally my opinion for myself. And we integrate these energies to understand each other. I have been totally, for the past couple of weeks, feeling like a man. It's like extreme empathic abilities. I've always been really feminine. I've never understood any of this until now, and I feel like at the moment the masculine will be integrating feminine energies and the feminine will be integrating masculine energies. And I'm just going to put this out there from my point of view, what's happened to me. And this is all from the point of view of an awakening divine masculine, which will have still some parts of the unbalanced masculine in there, because my masculine energy is not completely balanced and I'm not completely awake yet. So I don't know if I've been shown this, because I just need to channel it and get it out there so all the divine feminines can understand how hard it is for the divine masculines and stop giving them so much crap. Or I don't know if this is personal to me at the moment. I'm still making sense of it. But I knew I had to make this video for YouTube because I just needed to get the information out of my body because it's been driving me insane. Okay, so one of the main things the awakening masculine will feel is the need for vices. So it's going to be drinking, smoking, drugs. They're going to use all these things to numb and mask anxiety and any pain from the past, any past life pain, any pain they don't particularly understand. It will be masked by the vices. I've been chain smoking and also wanting to drink a lot of alcohol, which is extremely strange because I've pretty much been sober for a couple of years apart from the odd party. Also again, extremely unusual for me, but a lot of sexual feelings, so a lot of pretty much being very visual, looking at men like, oh my god, look at his bum or whatever, which is not what I've particularly ever been like before. I've always been more of a heart-based woman. So the sexual urges, these will be used to get out frustrations. So basically they just want to shag anything just to get it all out, get the frustration out, get that pent up energy out. And obviously there's other ways of doing this, like exercise and whatnot, going for a run, things like that. Another one is sort of like a trigger of anger and violence. I found that a lot of people have been belittling me whilst I've been in my masculine energy. And this has sort of created a lot of anger. And I've realised that men are pretty much belittled by women all their lives, probably even by their own mums. Oh, don't do that. Oh, don't do this. You know, nagging, the old nagging scenario. So I found that people telling me what to do and feeling belittled and disempowered has really been triggering like a really bad anger and sort of wanting to smash things and even smash people at times. And I have never been like this in my life. So I don't know if these things are actually mine or if I'm just taking them on because I need to channel this information for everyone. I'm not entirely sure at the moment, but I know that whoever needs to find this video will find it when they find it. So it's all cool. So the awakening divine masculine is awake, okay? They know about a load of stuff, sometimes a lot more stuff than us. They're totally obsessed with truth. So, you know, they do know about the Illuminati, they do know about corruption, they know about possibly more politics and more very logical, factual-based things about awakening than we do, psychology, dark arts and magic stuff. So any truther movement, you know, they're extremely passionate about. They want to learn more and more and more and become more and more awake. I went to watch David Icke last night, which I would have never done before because I would have been too terrified of hearing about reptilians and such. Because as divine feminines, we can be a bit stuck in the love and light, and we can be like, everything's great, you know, get some crystals and everything will be solved and everyone will be fine. And it's not really the case, you know. We've got to take on this truth, you know. The divine masculines really, really, really are passionate about truth and about the reality and the logic of everything. So I'm integrating that at the moment. I've also found that the divine masculine energy loves to zone out. So anything that can distract, TV series, music, films, it's a way to numb feelings, escape, and avoid, you know, awakening further into the emotional body, because it can be quite trapped in the mental body and not wanting to explore the emotional body, where the divine feminine is, you know, more emotional body. So yeah, I found zoning out really, really, really distracts and helps from the pain that they're trying to suppress inside. I've noticed that, you know, the divine masculine energy tries to meditate but can't get a connection at all. It's as if the upper chakras are completely blocked. The moment I have absolutely no connection, which has not happened to me for like 6-7 years, I've got no guides, I've got no visions when I'm trying to meditate, I'm getting no insights whatsoever. I can't do readings at the moment, which is absolutely horrendous for me because that's what I love doing. I'm just getting no insights whatsoever, and it is like a complete block of the upper chakras, and this isn't chosen, you know. This is so frustrating to sit there and to try and meditate and know that all this information is out there but it's not within your grasp is so annoying. Yeah, and I've found that working takes away any focus, any mental chatter, and it also takes up quite a lot of time. So you'll find divine masculines working overtime, keeping themselves busy. They do have busy minds, so keeping busy physically helps to stop thoughts and feelings that they can't handle at the moment. So if they aren't ready to face something, it'd be like, I'm going to sign up for a 12-hour shift and I'm going to do this, you know, because keeping busy really, really, really helps them. Whereas the divine feminine might prefer to sort of go within and retreat from the world and, you know, feel into everything and sit in a quiet room or whatever and meditate and things like that. The divine masculine really doesn't want to do that. Everything's outward based, so it's going to be, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go there, I'm going to keep busy, I'm going to fix my car, I'm going to do this. It's all motion. So the patterns and loops that they've got in terms of karma and in terms of, things they're attracting that are negative, they can see them. They know that they're there, but they have no idea how to stop them because they've got no connection and no intuition, or they might have just like a tiny bit or the odd flash now and again. So this just creates more and more frustration, which leads to more and more sort of inner anger and turmoil and complete, destruction of the solar plexus chakra. My solar plexus chakra is just like a heavy weight in my stomach at the moment. It's just so annoying. Right, okay, so yeah, they focus a lot on outward motion. They don't necessarily want to go within like we can. I've never been interested in like breath work or anything like that, but these past couple of weeks I've been like Wim Hofing like there's no tomorrow. It's so outward based because going within just does not help, because when they go within they're starting to feel all the frustration and they've got no connection, so it just gets more and more and more annoying. And so yeah, the outward motion helps. So walking in nature, running, exercising, breath work, creative things, like creating, anything, art, music, just anything outward, okay? So even like going out and sort of taking pictures of stuff or being active is what really helps them to get that energy out of their bodies. The feminine tends to cleanse from within. The masculine would much rather do it without. So what we should never do is expect the masculine to want to heal like we do. It's not really fair to expect that. And their empathy is understood much more in their head than in the feeling body. So they don't actually feel the emotion as much as we can, but they can intellectualize and understand logically how a person would feel in a certain situation. So they actually have the same skills as us. The masculine energy won't be feeling it as much in the body as we do. So they might not react as emotionally, like if you see a puppy on the TV and it's really sad, a divine feminine will just feel this sorrow in her body and, cry and all that kind of stuff. That's the feminine energy. The masculine energy will rationalize and think, right, that is really bad. That is really upsetting. What can we do about it? Like outward motion, everything's outward, and we really need that driving force. It's pretty amazing, really, when you think about it. Okay, so they try to be logical and rational about everything, and this might seem cynical to us. Okay, so they're always trying to fight arguments for and against and rationalize everything because they want everything to make sense in the mental plane. So, which is a great skill, but this can actually cause pain in the body. It can cause pain in the gut, in the heart. It can cause anxiety. It can cause extreme highs and lows of depression. And that's because they're not opening the heart and the intuition as much, so that needs to be balanced within them. But that is extremely painful, and it's just so exhausting as well to try and be logical about everything and try and do the right thing all the time mentally, because you're just not following your heart at all. and it's really painful. And also I've found that the masculine energy that's not completely in balance will put up with people's darkness, and they'll also respond to triggers. And this will lead them to getting really drained and feeling really fragmented. Feminine energy, because we feel everything. If we feel anger coming off someone, we're like, right, that's a trigger, I shut you down, I'm not dealing with it, I'm leaving the situation, or I'm blocking you, or I'm leaving the room, whatever, yeah? Because we can't handle to feel that emotion in our body. But men, because they're thinking about it, not necessarily men, but the masculine energy, because they're thinking about it more rationally and logically, they'll be breaking down the psychology of that trigger in their head, and they won't be feeling it so much in the body, so they're more likely to sort of put up with it and try and think, well, they are just doing that because of A, B, and C, and it's not their fault. And I think the awakening masculine hasn't quite learned about cutting people off, and how much that can help with your energy, because they're not so much in the energy body, they're more in the masculine sides of the body. So yeah, I've found that, and that's really a reflection on power. There's a whole theme for the masculine energy about power. Their major lesson is to sort of learn about their own power, and they'll keep getting this mirrored to them and until they learn that you don't have to put up with people that are sort of on a lower frequency. So it takes them a lot longer to get out of karmic relationships and stuff, because they're trying to rationalize everything, they're trying to logicalize everything, whereas I think the feminine energy just gets so hurt emotionally from karmic situations that they'll just be like, no, bye. I found it a lot harder for men to cut off from these things, which must be really hard for them as well. I've also found myself, whilst I've been integrating my masculine energy, completely unable to cry at times. So I haven't cried for ages, and I know that I need to, and it's quite frustrating knowing that I can't get that emotion up and out of my body. That can be a really difficult thing to put up with when you're on an awakening journey, because the whole process is emotional. There's so much crying that needs to be done. But it's just like a complete block, like the tear ducts just will not open, it will not happen. Also, the masculine energy feels self-conscious about spiritual stuff, about healing, crystals, therapy, all that kind of stuff. It isn't manly, and, we forget about this. Men might need these things, but it's not manly to have them, and a lot of the time they'll probably get taken the mick out of for doing these things, and we forget about that because the feminine energy will just go and do stuff like that all the time, and there might be things that they really need, like crystal healing or something like that, and alternative methods, but these methods aren't manly enough for them to actually be brave enough to go and sit in a room full of women, like some sort of class or something. It's hard. It's really hard for them because they've got the conditioning of being a man. You got to be big, you got to be strong, you've got to be tough, and they're trying to break this, and that is immensely hard. They're trying to save face all the time. They care a lot about what people think. I've found myself not posting things on Facebook, which is really unusual for me because usually I don't give a crap. But I've been worried in terms of protecting other people. Things that I post, what will this mean for other people? You know, men are the great protectors, especially of women. And I found myself thinking, you know, my mum might be embarrassed in front of Auntie Beryl, you know, because I'm posting this and that about going to see David Icke. Like, I'm embarrassed about the opposite things, you know. Whereas the men might think, you know, if I post on Facebook that I've been going to like gong baths, and then, you know, what's that going to mean for my mum? All the ladies at work are going to be asking her, you know, like, what's your son getting into? And it might embarrass my mum, you know, it might cause an issue for my mum. And that's really hard as well, because men are trying to be like protectors, and you know, as women, we can't even understand this, you know. This is just, it's totally been blowing my head off, to be honest, for the past few days. So yeah, they're totally scared of who they might become after all of this awakening journey and the change that it's going to bring. So a lot of divine masculines do have divine feminine friends, and they'll see that the divine feminines have lost friends, they've had to cut family members out, they've been through relationship breakups, divorces, major career changes, and the divine masculines are really not wanting their foundation to be destroyed, as they're largely ruled by the lower chakras. Okay, so, you know, the root chakra is everything to a man, to the masculine energy, and it's really scary to think that they've got to uproot and change pretty much everything because of this journey. You know, I think, and I do always say that the divine masculine energy is more in the truther movement, and the divine feminine energy is more in the spiritual movement, but really both of these things are combined, you know, totally all intertwined. So yeah, it's harder for them to think if they start getting into more spiritual stuff and talking really deeply about love and all that stuff. You know, what's this going to mean? They're going to have to face the relationship that they're in that's not healthy. You know, they're going to have to maybe have a chat to their mum about their childhood and how they feel about that. You know, these things are terrifying. Terrifying. To the masculine energy. And I've also found that the masculine energy just wants to externalize all pain. So any pain that they feel, they want to externalize it, whether it's creatively, sexually, physically. They want to get it out, completely out of the body. And that's the only way that they know how, okay? They don't naturally know how to go within, meditate, get healings done, be receptive with help from other people. All these things that the feminine energy does naturally, they just don't do naturally. They don't have the drive to go within like the feminine energy does, so it can be quite hard. You know, to take that leap and make that change. And, you know, maybe they don't have to change as long as they're not externalizing pain in a bad way, physically, sexually, creatively, or anything external, then who cares? You know, bit of tantra, bit of running, bit of yoga, bit of, you know, anything creative, anything outward motion, that's just as healing, and that's just as spiritual as, you know, all the things the feminine likes to do. So really, we shouldn't pressure the masculine to want to heal the same way as us, because they're not going to. It's likely that they're not going to. So yeah, the divine masculine energy also doesn't want to communicate and express like we do. I found myself just not replying in my group chat, with my friends, female friends, which is totally weird because I'm usually like a blabbermouth. And I'm always usually helping people, and, you know, people message me like, oh, Beck, can you have a look at this dream that I had and decode it for me and this and that? And I'm like, yeah, I love it. Oh my God, what have you been up to? Blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, it's such weird energy at the minute. And I'm just blah, blah, blah. Found myself just not replying in the group chat, isolating myself, hiding. I've been avoiding friends on an emotional level, but I've been totally okay to go out and get drunk with them and have fun and go to gigs and go and chat about stuff that's not deep and sort of painful, which is the complete opposite to what I usually am, because as the feminine energy, usually it's like I go around to my girlfriends and, you know, talk about feelings and talk about what's been going on a deep level and stuff. So this is totally, totally alien as well. The masculine energy will wait for the right moment to do things, but this will just cause them to procrastinate and question too much logically about decisions or actions that they want to make. Acting on intuitive impulses is complicated for the masculine energy. It's not as simple as it is for the feminine energy. The feminine energy will just get an insight about something and go bang, 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 act on it. Because we totally trust our intuition. The masculine energy just does not have contact with the intuition that we do. I've never quite realised on this level before, but obviously, they have other skills which are amazing. My brain's been working great, absolutely great these past few days that I've been integrating the masculine. I've been reading everything, I've been learning everything, and usually, I'm just not that into that kind of stuff. I'm more about my readings and stuff like that. So yeah, we've both got pluses, we don't have to be the same. I've noticed that sex will make everything feel better for a while, and it's all about sort of getting that energy, pent up frustrations out of the body. But in the end, the divine masculine energy will be drained by this, because it's likely that they're not making the right decisions with partners, because it's not a heart-based choice, it's more of a sacral chakra-based choice, which means they're likely sleeping with and attracting energy vampires and unawakened people. I know a lot of sex addiction goes on in the divine masculine community, so I totally understand this at the minute. I would have never understood it before, but I've totally felt that. It's sort of like the feminine energy will be looking for a partner on more of a heart-based level, and the sort of unbalanced divine masculine is just trying to get this energy out of the body and just trying to, in a different way to what we would. Like I say, it's all external, not internal. They're carrying around all the collective masculine wounds, okay, just the same as we are, So there's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of dark sexual urges, there's total fear of making the wrong decisions, there's the whole responsibility of being a leader, being powerful, power struggles with other masculine energy, there's the soft versus strong man debate, there's the whole being an alpha male thing, there's aggression, violence, and also, the whole idea of being a provider and providing money and being a protector. And, all this weight is on their shoulders, and it's really heavy, really heavy. So I think we need to have a bit more sympathy for the divine masculines and what they're clearing. There's all talk about female suppression all the time, but there's just as bad for the masculine energy. It is just as bad. They suffer with a lot of mental confusion. Nothing makes sense. They're trying to work things out in the brain all the time, but obviously on an awakening journey, not everything is logical. So it's literally like, some days it's like you're just staring at a wall and it's a brick wall and you cannot work out what the hell is going on. and it's horrible, and it's just complete mental confusion. You know, their confusion during the awakening journey is a lot more mental and physical than the divine feminines, which will be a lot more emotional turmoil. So there'll be a lot more crying involved and a lot more sort of ancient wounds coming up and stuff. But the masculine, I've been feeling it a lot more mentally, and I've found really, the only solution to, getting past all this is just trying to open up the upper chakras completely. So heart, throat, third eye and crown. Third eye and crown feels so essential to be open for the divine masculine energy. It's a major block. I think the divine masculine energy will have to figure out for itself what works. I found sound healing is the best thing for my third eye. The only thing that's been working for me during this time has been going to gong baths and sound baths with crystal bowls and just lying there, focusing on my third eye, letting the vibrations go through my third eye, and I've been getting some of my visions back and some of my meditative insights back. Usually, when I'm in my feminine energy, I can just meditate for like 2 seconds and I've already got the answer to the question I wanted. So yeah, this has been really hard for me. Just work on the upper chakras. I don't know whether like lying in bed with an amethyst on the third eye will help to open it up. I'm sure there's lots and lots of different things. And I think that as the feminine energy, we should let the masculine energy work out for itself what it wants to do, We're not in control of them. They're not in control of us. But we are integrating each other's energies so we can understand what's going on. If you found that you've been integrating the opposite energy, I'd love to hear your experiences. A lot of my friends in the Twin Flame community are experiencing the same thing or have done before their unions, which obviously when you're in union, it'll help you to understand why everything has happened. And why, there's been addictions or whatever going on that seems dark and bad, I feel like I can completely understand like a lot of my divine masculine friends now I've experienced this, things that I would have never understood before. So at the moment, it won't just be the awakened masculine part or feminine part that you'll be integrating. It'll be the dark element to it as well. I've been experiencing some of the more dark masculine drives these past few days, like, the sexual stuff and the addictions and wanting to do drugs to escape, things like that, which I haven't done since I was very young. So if you're a masculine integrating your female energy, I'm guessing that the opposite will be true again. So you'll be integrating dark feminine things and understanding them, like jealousy, wanting to control people, telling people what to do, possessiveness, neediness, feelings of revenge, sexual energy stealing, women do a lot of that, and sexual manipulation, controlling men with sexual energy, which women do a lot, which is dark too. I hope this has helped some people. I'm sorry that it's so long. I needed to get it out there because all of this was not going away. And I thought maybe I really need to share and channel this information. Hopefully tomorrow all this will be gone, because I tell you, I just do not want to be in this energy. It's so hard. It's as hard as all the feminine healing that I've done in terms of, you know, women's depression and crazy emotions and, you know, everything I've been through as a divine feminine over the last 6 years. You know, this is just as bad. It's just different, okay? I just want everyone to know that, and everyone to see the balance that's going on here. So yeah, any questions, email me, add me on Facebook, anything at all. And I hope this has helped some people to really understand the divine masculine's point of view, because we need to stop moaning at them, basically. You know, I really want to just be on the men's side and the women's side. So yeah, all the best to all of you.